Hello everyone, I have decided to make an official analysis of Glorybringer, and I am backing it up with actual citations from the book. I have textual evidence to support my claims, unlike a few others who made Glorybringer analyses of their own. You can look in your own books if you don't believe me. I actually used evidence from the book. There are two parts to this analysis. I will be addressing the age first, then the stalking. Anyway, enough screwing around. Here we go. At the beginning of the Assassin Winglet, it says Deathbringer is 4 years old, and it occurs 2 years before Deathbringer hatches. This would make Deathbringer 13 years old, right? Actually, no. There is evidence that suggests he is younger than that. In Winter Turning, on page 50, it says this. His attacker was a Nightwing a few years older than him. A few years is not 8 years, it is 5 at most. Deathbringer has to be around Glory's age, because Glory is also a few years older than Winter. This suggests that Deathbringer could not be older than 9, but this evidence isn't rock solid. A few is a very vague form of measurement, so we can't prove that Deathbringer is younger than 13. Or can we? In The Dark Secret, there is another piece of evidence that we can use. On page 61, Mastermind says this. No one sees the Queen. Not for the last 9 years or so. She's very private. Now, this means nothing on its own, but there's more. Keep the 9 years in your mind. That's important later. On page 149, it says this. Fatespeaker grabbed the bars. You've met the Queen? Deathbringer tilted his head at her. No, not face to face, of course. She watches us through screens and speaks through her daughter, Greatness. It's been like that as long as I've been alive, anyway. This means that Deathbringer could not possibly be older than 9 years old, since the Queen stopped showing her face 9 years ago, and Deathbringer hasn't been alive when she was showing her face, so he could not possibly be older than 9 years old. This is undeniable proof. Of course, this creates a contradiction. The Assassin Winglet directly states that he is 13, while the Dark Secret directly states that he is 7. So what do we believe? In a case like this, it is up to the author to sort this out. However, as you may have seen, there are a lot of YouTube comments saying she said it was a mistake. Now, I haven't seen this, but when so many people claim something is true, there has to be at least some truth to it. I think we can assume that Deathbringer is 7, because we have more proof for that argument than we do for the other side. However, they are dragons, so even if Deathbringer was 13, we can't prove that the dragons even care. I personally think that it would be bad if he were 13, but not as bad as if they were humans. There is no mention of dragons caring about ages, as far as I know, so unless you can prove it to me, I'm going to assume they don't care. This is one of those situations where the sand in the hourglass is either black, or it's a mix of black and white, if you get my reference to the Soul Reader. Anyway, onwards to the next part, the stalking. A lot of people say Deathbringer was stalking Glory, and unfortunately, we can't really prove that he wasn't stalking her. Or can we? Back in Winter Turning, on page 50, Glory says, I am going to replace you as my bodyguard if you seriously can't tell the difference between a male Icewing traveling with my friends Kinkajou and Moonwatcher and a lone Icewing out to kill me. This proves that she could have replaced him if she wanted to, but she chooses not to. Also, on page 66 in Winter Turning, the book says this about Glory. She gave him an exasperated look. You can't always be, she said in a low, surprisingly affectionate voice that suddenly made Winter rethink everything he had assumed about the Queen and her bodyguard. This shows that Glory feels affection for Deathbringer. You wouldn't feel that way towards someone who is stalking you. And on page 128 in Winter Turning, Glory and Deathbringer have this exchange. Yes, because you're the most important queen in Pyria, Deathbringer said, and also because I couldn't live without you. Not that you care, torturing me with your recklessness all the time. That's true, Glory said. You'd be an absolute mess, the way you were before you met me. I was only half a dragon before I met you, he declared, and I'd be even less if I lost you now. Alright, settle down, she said affectionately. This proves that she likes him, and if he was stalking her, she wouldn't like him. This isn't 100% rock solid proof, but it's most likely the closest we're going to get. So now you know that it is totally okay to ship these two. There's no age gap and no stalking. Glorybringer is my favorite ship, and it took a lot of effort to painstakingly search through the books and obtain this proof. So if you could like and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. I love you guys, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. That's all for now. Goodbye.